welcome to Weddings by Bobby. I'm Bobby Hickson. Of course, this is my show all about anything you want to know with regard to the wedding industry. Well, tonight, I'm surrounded by the most wonderful fragrance of chocolate, vanilla, hazelnut, amaretto, you name it, it's in this studio. The cameramen are going crazy. They want to dive into this stuff. And I have a fabulous cake baker with me. Her name is Alla Levin. Her company name is The Cake Zone, and she's here with me. Thank you, Alla, for being here. I'm so excited you're here. This place is fabulous. I mean, look at all of these things that you brought. We're going to get into all of this, okay, not only physically, but talk about.
Thank you, Bobby, for having me over.
Tell me a little bit about you. How did you get started in this fabulous business?
Oh, gosh, it started a long time ago. I'm from Eastern Europe. It's a small country, Belarus, between Poland and Russia.
I love the name Belarus.
Belarus, yes, it's a white Russia, actually, as an English translation. And my dad was pastry chef, so as a child I was helping him in the kitchen, watching him creating new recipes, but my desire was more to decorate all his creations, not to bake with him. So as a child, I was introduced to the baking and designing and decoration. Then, despite my family traditions, I became accessory designer.
Accessory, you mean clothing, fashion?
I mean fashion designer, but accessories as a hats, purses,
and so on. And that was in New York.
First, I started to work as accessory designer and got my degree in Europe. And then I moved to New York and went to Fashion Institute of Technology to continue my education. And I worked in a number of design studios, and I was very successful. But something was missing. I felt like I'm not completely satisfied with what I do. And then in 2001, I remember the day when I woke up, I was not happy, and I called my dad and I said, something is missing. And he's like, bake the cake and you feel better. It was his answer for everything, just bake the cake. It was beginning of May, and the most famous event I've known was Kentucky Derby. So I decided to make a cake that looks like a hat. So I baked the cake, I carved the cake, I decorated it as a hat with all edible decorations. And it made me so happy.
And it made the people so happy, too,
and I was like, okay, the Cake Zone was born.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And, of course, then you came to Florida and fell in love with Florida.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
Who doesn't love Sarasota and the area around here? You've really become very, very famous in this area.
Thank you.
You've done some very unusual creations, and we do call them creations.
Thank you.
Because that indeed is what they are. But what's your most different, other than that, different creation that you've done?
All my cakes are very unique. It's all about people, all about their hobbies, all about their desires and dreams. And my slogan is, if you can dream it, we can make it. And it's not only a slogan, it's a promise. Lately, I had people in my design room who wanted unusual wedding cake for their wedding, and they gave me hints. They love downtown life, and they like Salvador Dali.
Salvador Dali,
right?
Fabulous.
And they told me surprises. So I started to design the cake, and I came up with upside down cake, defying gravity cake with different geometrical designs and Salvador Dali odd shapes
and ovals. Is a picture of it. This is, it's actually defying gravity in all its glory, but look at it. They must have been amazed at what you did.
Yes, they have. And all workers at Tempo Club took picture of the cake, and it's still circulating
around because it's so amazing. I mean, first of all, it does not look like a cake. How do you cut that cake, Alla?
You just
Very
get the
careful.
knife and cut it. No, it's actually very, very steady.
Do you start at the bottom and work your way up?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
All
You
right.
start at the bottom.
So
and
once
work your
once
up
the
up.
bottom layer is gone, then the next layer and so on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just an amazing cake.
And all decorations are edible. I don't use any plastic, metal, fake decorations in my cakes.
Yeah. Oh.
Everything you see on the cake is hand sculpted and hand molded.
Well, I want to talk about this one here.
This one another unusual design.
This is amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, this looks like a wine barrel that wine is in. Correct?
Correct.
But it's not. It's a cake.
It's not. It's a cake. And when it was at the wedding, it was as a groom's cake, as a surprise
Oh my gosh. it
for a
must have been
groom who
sommelier.
was a winemaker.
Oh, I know.
So when this cake was displayed, a lot of guests wanted to turn and to pour wine into the glass.
Oh, how
Yes,
adorable
it
is
looked
that?
real. So all grapes made out of marzipan. They hand sculpted and hand painted. Bottle is chocolate, and rest of the cake is decorated with fondant.
Now, how does one cut or slice a cake like this?
They had a trouble to cut it because they wanted to preserve, and I said, it's a cake. It's meant to be eaten. It's meant to be cut, so don't hesitate. Actually, it's a 3-tier cake,
Oh.
and it
okay.
was carved in form of the barrel. So, but it has all separations and support
So
as for
if
3-tier.
If you go in, you will hit
You
a
will
layer.
hit a layer, and then you separate, and then the next
Go
one.
down and so on.
Yes.
Well, I mean, to me, this is an amazing thing. I bet everybody looking at this at home is saying, "What in the world? That can't be a cake," but it is.
It is. Thank you.
It totally is
Thank you.
a cake. Let's, for fun, talk about fondant, because we were having a conversation before we came on the air, and as a lot of my brides and mothers and people that hear me talk, a fondant can be just so gooey and chewy and bubblegummy and not good tasting that a lot of brides don't want fondant. This is not true with your fondant.
Yes, you're absolutely right. A lot of brides who come to my showroom for complimentary tasting design session tell me that we don't want to have fondant. We had such a bad experience. We tasted it, and actually I convert them from buttercream to fondant when I give them to taste. My fondant, it's homemade, and it's either marshmallow based or chocolate based. And I use only Belgium chocolate in my fondant. Actually, I made those cookies with this Belgium chocolate fondant for you to taste.
These are these beautiful cookies. I'll show one to the camera. And this one happens to have a fleur-de-lis on it. But, do I have that upside down? No. But you can do initials on this.
Yes, they
you can
with,
put
monogram.
names. You could put cute little anything on here,
That's correct.
which is just wonderful.
It could be as a
I'm
wedding
passing
favor.
it on to my wonderful cameraman because he can't stand it. He's going to eat one, and I love it. Is that good, Michael?
Very.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all.
You're welcome, Michael.
But the fondant is so different from most fondants.
It is different. When I first started to decorate cakes, obviously I started with brand names, fondants that are available at retail stores.
Sure.
And I didn't like the taste. It tasted like plastic. So I started to experiment and create my own recipe. And from that moment, when I finally achieved desirable, that it's very pliable, it's very soft, it tastes like a candy, I have 2 different fondants I can offer, actually 3. One is vanilla based on marshmallow, another one is dark chocolate, and the third one is white chocolate. I can color in any color, and I can flavor my fondant because I make it from scratch. So in the beginning of the process, I can put any color, any flavor into my fondant.
Well, and if it is that good, and we're all going to try one here in a little bit, which I'm so excited about, that good, then brides will tend to want that. And then you get this kind of reality when you're trying to carve out
Exactly.
something.
Fondant gives me a possibility of unlimited design. Anything you dream, anything you want, I can create out of fondant and cake.
And cake. Now, you make your cakes fresh.
Yes.
One of the things that bothers me with bakers is if they bake them ahead and freeze them, and then take them out and either reheat them or just let them, they lose that wonderful fresh taste. I mean, it's gone. It tastes almost like cardboard.
You're absolutely right. They lose the fragrance of the cake, and all the vanilla and caramel and all ingredients you add to the cake, and the same with taste.
But the texture is gone.
The texture is gone. It's very crumbly. All of my cakes are freshly baked. Even for my complimentary tasting design sessions, I offer to every bride, to every customer, to any special occasion cake, I bake all of my cakes on order, fresh, so
now,
they can taste it.
Is this how you feel distinguishes you apart from other companies, other bakers, and so on?
I don't know what other bakers do and how they work with their cakes, but I'm not a production line, that's for sure. All of my cakes are freshly baked. All of my cakes are freshly stocked and decorated, and I use only finest ingredients: Belgium chocolate, Madagascar vanilla, French or Italian meringue. So all the best and finest ingredients, and it's always fresh, never frozen.
When you, let's say somebody comes in and they want the cake for Saturday, and they come in, well, last week, let's just say. When do you bake the cake and then to finish it with the fondant and the decor, so it's ready to deliver on Saturday?
I usually bake cake, it depends if it's Saturday or Sunday delivery, Wednesday or Thursday, because cake needs to rest. You cannot decorate fresh cake.
I love that word,
right?
because that's exactly what cakes do need.
Yes, they need to rest. And then after it's ready, after it has it firms, then I start to decorate and put it together. And with my cakes, all brides and all customers get best of two worlds, because I frost my cakes with vanilla buttercream, homemade buttercream, and then fondant as a second layer of icing.
Oh, wow.
So they get both.
Oh my gosh, isn't that fabulous? That is so neat. When you, well, I guess I should ask you what your favorite flavors are. Oh, you know what? We're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to find out all about the flavors and a little more about these wonderful cupcakes here and this other cake that we're smelling and feeling so good about. This room is just loaded with sugar, including the two of us. We'll be right back.